there an epidemic around the coaches all going down with illness?
Yeah, no, not really. Brad just phoned in this morning and he's a little bit crook and probably a 24-hour thing, and he'll be right to jump on the plane tomorrow and head over to Perth.
Who would step up if he wasn't?
Well, that's why the three of us are here, because when one of us goes down, there's another three guys to step into the void. So, we're comfortable that any one of the three of us could step in.
Obviously, there was a big loss to West Coast in the finals last year. How much do you look at that, or do you just ignore that altogether?
Oh, look, I think any bad loss like that would be burning within the playing group that that definitely played that day. So it hasn't had to be mentioned from us, but I'm sure within the playing group that they would have identified that and would be wanting to make amends for that loss.
The record in Perth isn't great in general. How do you overcome that?
Look, I think we've actually really worked on our travelling and trying to perform on the road. When you become the team that you want to become, it doesn't matter who you play or where you play. You should be able to step up, and that's the type of team that we want to become. And we're not there yet, but we feel we're building towards being that team.
When you say work on travelling, what does that specifically involve? Like, is there a certain process that you have to go through, as in change how many days you go over there earlier or something like that? Or
Well, it's a little bit different this week for us because, I really can't remember the last time we played on a Friday night in Perth. So definitely the travelling arrangements have changed for this week. We'll head over. We've got our main session here today. We'll head over late-ish tomorrow afternoon, settle in tomorrow night, and then we've got a training run on Thursday, have our meetings over there, and then into it on Friday night. So it's a little bit different for us this week. So, yeah, but as I said, if you're going to become the team you want to become, doesn't matter what gets thrown up. You should be able to cope with those different changes to routine and beat whoever, wherever.
Long time over there, is it fairly structured, your time over there, or will they get a fair bit of free time to treat themselves like normal people?
No, look, Brad's always been one for, and I suppose coming from Brisbane, he's got a fair background in what he was comfortable with, travelling a fair bit, but look, we have to structure it a little bit because we've got an important training session over there and we've got some important meetings to have in regards to our preparation. But at the same time, the players will have a fair bit of time to then just prepare themselves.
How much will Andrew do today, and how confident are you that he'll actually be playing on Friday night?
Yeah, he probably won't do a hell of a lot today. We got some positive scans come back on his knee, but now it's just going to be a matter of how he gets through the rest of the week. And, he's going to travel with us. Obviously we're jumping on a plane tomorrow, so he'll come over, but we've got to have plans in place in case he doesn't come up as well. But at this stage, we're hoping for the best.
What about Aaron Mullett? Is he going to travel as well?
Aaron Mullet's in the same boat to Andrew, so he'll have a little bit of a walk and light jog today, see how he is tomorrow, and he'll do the same thing as Andrew, come over and train Thursday. Does the fact that you're playing in Perth probably make it less likely that he will play, Andrew Swallow, that is, because he's got to fly over and it's a bigger ground?
No, not at all. If he's right, he'll play.
So when will you make the call on Andrew, Darren?
Yeah, well, as I said, we've got our final training session over there in Perth, so he'd have to be able to have a run around and feel really comfortable within himself about his knee, and he knows what the rigours of AFL footy throw up, and he'd be able to make a pretty good judgment on whether he'd be able to get through a game or not. So we'll make that call after training over there.
Do you think he'll be named regardless and then game day sort of decision?
Whether we leave it up to the 12th hour, before the game, I'm not too sure. But we'll just wait and see.
How excited are you about the prospect of Nick Naitanui and Majak Daw being on the same ground?
We're more excited about the prospect of Majak Daw being on the ground. But Nick Nat sort of obviously has come back and he helps bolster their side. He's a really exciting player for them and helps them around their stoppage and clearance work, and also is always dangerous when he goes forward. So, We obviously need to plan for that, but we're really excited about Majak and what he's doing for us at the moment.
And on Majak, how do you handle that? Like, obviously he's excited, he's up, but how do you sort of stop him from getting too ahead of himself, but still embrace the moment? How do you handle that?
You can touch on that one.
Oh, look, it's a learning process for Madge every day. So, look, it's great that he's been able to play in the 3 or 4 games now. But he knows himself. He's still got a hell of a lot of education to go in the game, and he'll be the first one to put his hand up and say that he's more than happy to be in the team and learning as much as he possibly can. But he knows he's got a hell of a lot more work to do.
And from your point of view, what are those key things?
Oh, look, with Madge, the skill set's there for him. It's game sense stuff. It's knowing where to be at what time, reading the play, so he can predict where the ball's going to be when he gets there. So that's the sort of stuff that just takes time and games to get to know what's happening.
How much license do you give him to just go and play?
Oh no, look, we have a pretty structured forward line. Obviously, players like him and Nick Natanui, they can do some special things. So at times they're probably going to be in places that they're not supposed to be, but you just encourage them to attack the ball as well as they can at that time. So look, he hasn't got a free rein, but he's trying to work within the constraints of the forward line group.
Were you surprised by what he did on the weekend so quickly?
Not surprised, because we've seen him be able to do that at VFL level, but to be able to transition that to AFL level on a consistent basis is the challenge for Madge now. So not surprised at all that's what we got. Really happy to see it happen, but consistency is what all AFL players are after. So the challenge to Madge now is to reproduce.
Robbie Tarrant's been out for a while now, Brett. Can you give us a bit of an update as to how he's tracking back from injury?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a nerve sort of ending type injury. I'm not fully across it myself, but he trained really well last Wednesday, and we really thought he was a chance to play on the weekend. But unfortunately, just pulled up. Saw the following day. So really, with these nerve type injuries, you just got to give it the time to rest and completely fix itself before we can progress. So it's looking like probably another week or two for Robbie before that happens.
Do you imagine he'll come back in through the VFL now, given Majak and Aaron Black's good form?
Oh, look, it's probably starting to go that way. He hasn't played for, I think it's a month now. So another couple of weeks on top of that, it's getting to sort of 6-7 week mark where he hasn't really been able to do a hell of a lot of conditioning type training. So it's probably starting to look that way.
When he initially came out, Brad thought it was just going to be the 1 week. Has it just turned into a different injury than you thought it was, or?
No, I don't think it has. I think it's the same injury they thought it was, but it's just how to get it to fix, or it's really just a rest type injury that before you can start loading it again. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to get it to that point.
Darren, are there any lessons you took out of the finals game last year that you think will help you this time around?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. We just went through some vision with the playing group before, our training meeting, and yeah, there were things that let us down in that final that we've been able to really learn from. And as I said before, I think we're far better equipped to be able to take the Eagles on their home turf and be able to fix a few of those issues this time around.
Does any of that have to do with how you play Patersons Stadium?
No, not really. It's just sticking to the way that we want to play. Playing to our method, and we weren't able to do that as well as we would have liked last year, obviously. And we think that we're playing and doing that a lot more consistently at the moment. And we've been a really hard team to play against, even in our losses so far this year. Teams have had to really find something, get over the top of us, and so we think that will hold us in good stead.
Have you told Harvey to keep his hands to himself this time around?
I don't think that Boomer needs to be told that. Sitting on the sidelines for 6 weeks was punishment enough, and he doesn't want us to go down that path again. So he'll be a good boy, and just be looking forward to playing football.
And Grimer, are you expecting him to come back?
Yeah, Grimer's expected to come back this week, so it was more with him a management thing. He was just generally sore. He'd missed a little bit of pre-season. He'd had a month of footy, and it was just the Bulldogs didn't have a really tall forward line. So we just decided that Lockie Hansen was available and played there, and Grimer will be back.
Have you got your matchup set up with Scott Thompson and Grimer back there with their key forwards?
Yeah, we haven't sort of locked them in yet, but they've got 3 or 4 dangerous key forwards, obviously, who have had good years, so very hard to stop. So yeah, Grimer, Thompson, Hansen, if he's there, be very difficult.
Unique in their height in attack. They go taller than most teams. Is that the real challenge up against them?
Absolutely. They're all mobile too. Like Darling and Kennedy run really well for guys who are 6'4", 6'5". So our defence has been generally it's undersized. Like they're not genuine key position players, but with Hansen, it's probably the one genuine key. The other 2 are sort of third tall defenders, but they seem to do the job week in, week out. And arguably Scott Thompson's in all-Australian form at the moment.
You've gone with Thompson and Grimer most weeks, Shane. Do you think that you may whack in Lockie as the third tall this week?
Yeah, that's an option we're definitely looking at. And Michael Ferrito has played key defender. Again, he's not a key defender size, so whether we go with the 4 of them or just the 2 keys with Ferrito, we'll work that out. But obviously, there's 2 options there we can go with.